Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultan's Armed Forces marks Retirees' Day, which falls on the 7th of December every year. Arab Ministers of Social Affairs discuss in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh a strategy to combat poverty and develop the social life of Arab citizens. And Hamas reacts after the US fails to win the UN condemnation. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Divisions of the Sultan's Armed Forces and other units at the Ministry of Defence and Royal Guard of Oman mark today Retirees' Day, which falls on the 7th of December every year. On this occasion, Lieutenant General Ahmed bin Harith Al-Napani, Chief of Staff of the Sultan's Armed Forces, stressed that the celebration of this day came in recognition of the giving and exerted efforts by retirees during their military service and their roles in serving the homeland. The day was a royal gesture by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. The celebration came to honour all those who took part in the Progress March of the Sultan's Armed Forces and contributed to the comprehensive development march in the Sultanate. The Sultanate participated in the works of the 38th round of the Council of Arab Ministers of Social Affairs with a delegation led by His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Saeed Al Kabani, Minister of Social Development. The event was held in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh. The ministers discussed topics related to disabled people and the elimination of poverty. They worked to set up an Arab strategy to combat poverty and develop the social prospects of Arab citizens. The ministers also dealt with requests of member states about supporting social development projects for the fiscal year 2019. The National Disease Vector Combat Campaign continues in various governorates and wilayas of the Sultanate. It is being conducted by the Ministry of Regional Municipalities and Water Resources. The campaign aims to highlight the risks of these vectors on humans and animals and ways to fight them. It also seeks to stress the roles of all segments of society to combat disease vectors. An exhibition on the sideline of the campaign showcased awareness efforts with regard to the safe use of pesticides as per international standards. Still to come in our news bulletin. The governorates of Dhofar and Dahira mark Omani Volunteering Day. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. A Hamas official said the group considered the rejection by the UN of a US-drafted resolution condemning their activities in Gaza a new victory to the legality of resistance. The draft resolution that for the first time would have condemned the group Hamas, which controls Gaza, failed to win the required two-thirds majority in the UN General Assembly yesterday. Before the vote on the resolution, the 193-member world body had narrowly voted to require a two-thirds majority for approval as sought by Arab nations rather than the simple majority urged by the United States. The vote on the resolution to condemn Hamas was 87 in favour against 57 opposed, with 33 abstentions, a plurality below the two-thirds required to adopt it. Yemen's warring sides were meeting for a second day today at a UN-sponsored peace talks in Sweden, aimed at halting a catastrophic war that has brought the country to the brink of famine. The 3-year-long conflict pits the internationally recognised movement, which is backed by a Saudi-led coalition against the rebels known as Houthis, who took the capital of Sana'a in 2014. UN envoy Martin Griffiths said the two sides have signalled they are serious about de-escalating the fighting through calls they've made in recent weeks, and urged them to work to further reduce the violence in the nation, the scene of massive civilian suffering. The OPEC countries were discussing a possible cut to oil production in an attempt to stabilise prices as they met for a second straight day. Ministers arrived at the organisation's headquarters in Vienna today after inconclusive talks the day before. Saudi Arabia has been pushing a cut of about 1 million barrels a day, but the oil cartel was not able to make a decision yesterday. Member states will continue to negotiate in order to come to an agreement on production cuts before being joined by Russia later today to determine how much it will contribute to the cut. Oil prices have fallen about 25% in recent months. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's party celebrated her 18 years as its leader with a lengthy standing ovation today. Speaking at the CDU party convention in Hamburg, Merkel said she was overwhelmed by a single feeling: thankfulness. The party is now preparing to elect a successor who could help shape Germany's political direction for the next generation. A close ally of Merkel's and a one-time rival were considered favourites for the leadership of the centre-right Christian Democratic Union. Merkel announced in October that she would give up the reins in her party, though she plans to remain Chancellor until her current term ends in 2021. However, it is possible that the next election could come earlier. Back to some more local news. With the aim to stress the significance of voluntary work, the Directorate General of Social Development in the Governorate of Dhofar celebrated Omani Volunteering Day. The ceremony witnessed a wide participation from members of society, and it included a number of activities such as visual presentations and lectures. The voluntary work, with its various kinds, is considered one of the main pillars in the country to encourage the spirit of cooperation and spread the good values and principles among various segments of society. At the end of the event, a number of voluntary individuals and institutions were honoured. With a wide participation from society, the Directorate General of Social Development in the Governorate of Dhofar organised a gathering, the Omani Volunteering Day, with emphasis on the importance of voluntary work and its role in serving society, besides the Municipal Council's role in voluntary work and service of local community utilities. The activity included blood pressure and diabetes screening, in addition to some voluntary initiatives were revealed. It also contained a show and a play, as well as an exhibition discussing the voluntary work. At the end, a number of voluntary initiatives were honoured. Coinciding with World Countries, the celebrations of the International Day of People with Disabilities, which falls on the 3rd of December every year, the Governorate of Bahrain organised a number of cultural, sport and social activities. The ceremony came to emphasise the attention being given by the Sultanate and Omani society to this particular segment. The event also included a number of lectures on the International Day of People with Disabilities and the concept of voluntary work in Islam. In order to preserve Omani traditions, the 16th annual festival for domestic camel racing concluded in the Walaya of Sihar in the Governorate of North Batna. The event was organised by Royal Camel Corps in cooperation with the private sector. The two-day race included 41 rounds. The event witnessed a huge participation from members of society, as well as those interested in such activities from youth. The race, which witnessed competitiveness in the first day, came to encourage camel race competitions and to revive Omani heritage. At the end of the race, the winners were honoured. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorate, with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning over the coasts of the Arabian Sea. Winds will be northeasterly to easterly, light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 metres. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultan's Armed Forces marks Retirees' Day, which falls on the 7th of December every year. Arab ministers of social affairs discuss in the Egyptian city of Sharm el-Sheikh a strategy to combat poverty and develop the social prospects of Arab citizens. And Hamas reacts after the US fails to win UN condemnation. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.